They can't look you in the eye because your eyes are fire, not ordinary fire, but the ancient flame of divine remembrance. When people glance at you, even for a moment, something in them stirs. It's not fear of you, it's fear of what you carry. Something sacred, something eternal, something that reminds them of everything they tried to forget about themselves. Chosen one, I need you to hear this deeply. The reason people act strange around you, avoid your gaze, and feel uneasy in your presence is not because something is wrong with you. It's because everything that is right with you threatens the darkness they've chosen to live in. You've walked through storms that would have taken out most. You've endured silent betrayals, nights filled with invisible tears, and rooms where your presence was tolerated but never truly welcomed. You've learned how to stand tall in spaces that tried to shrink you, to smile when your spirit was breaking, and to be gentle even when the world wasn't gentle with you. And now that you're walking in a sacred frequency, people can't hide from your light anymore. That light shines through your eyes. Your eyes, they're not just organs that see, they're portals. They don't just observe the physical, they pierce through illusions, lies, and masks. When people try to lie to you, something in them shifts. They stutter, they fidget, they feel exposed. Because your gaze activates something they buried long ago, their guilt, their shame, their fear. Your eyes speak without words. They say, I see you, the real you, not the one you pretend to be. This is why they avert their gaze. This is why they get nervous. This is why, even in silence, you make a noise in their soul that they can't ignore. But let's go deeper, because I know you've wondered about it, maybe even doubted yourself because of it. You walk into a room and suddenly it feels like everyone's energy shifts. Some people glance and look away fast, while others stare just a little too long, like they're trying to figure you out. You feel the tension in the air. The atmosphere gets thick. You ask yourself, why does this always happen to me? It's because you carry the oil of heaven. You carry authority without saying a word. You carry peace that convicts restless spirits. You carry truth that makes liars uncomfortable. You carry love that exposes hate. It's not about what you wear, what you say, or what you've done. It's about who you are. God marked you. Before you were formed in the womb, He set you apart. And ever since then, the spirit realm has been aware of you, even when people weren't. That mark, it's still on you. It radiates from your being. It pulses from your presence. And when people look into your eyes, they subconsciously see the fingerprint of God, and it terrifies them. Because when they look at you, they realize they can't manipulate you like others. They can't deceive you like they used to deceive the weak. You see too much. You feel too deeply. You know without knowing how you know. That's spiritual discernment. It's the gift that cost you something. The price, pain, isolation, a season where you were misunderstood, mislabeled, and mistreated. But through it all, your spirit sharpened, and now you walk with authority. There was a time you begged to be seen, to be understood, to be embraced by the crowd. You didn't understand why they rejected you, but now you're beginning to see. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. God was hiding you in plain sight because your light was too precious for premature exposure. He was molding you, refining you, consecrating you. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break the mold. That's why they couldn't handle your presence. It's not your ego, it's your essence. You remind people of the parts of themselves they've abandoned. You mirror their potential, and that can either awaken or terrify them. And so they avoid your eyes. Because when they look at you, they feel convicted about their own life. They feel unworthy, they feel small, and it's not your fault. It's their unresolved wounds being stirred by your healed presence. It's their inner child recognizing someone who never gave up. It's their spirit whispering, this one is different. This one carries heaven. You are not just different, you are divinely distinct. There's a reason you were never truly accepted in those circles, why you felt like the odd one out even in your own family, why you always felt like you were walking through life with some kind of veil separating you from the crowd. It's because you were set apart. They don't look you in the eye because your eyes are a mirror, and most people aren't ready to see themselves reflected in truth. They don't look you in the eye because your soul speaks louder than your mouth. They don't look you in the eye because there's a holy fire in you that burns through pretense, performance, and pride. Chosen one, you are not crazy. You are not overly sensitive. You are not imagining things. You are spiritually awake in a world that thrives on slumber. You are carrying an energy that can't be faked, an anointing that can't be taught, and a presence that can't be copied. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it hurts when those you loved the most avoid you, betray you, or treat you like you're a threat. But understand this, they weren't rejecting you. They were rejecting what you represent. Truth, transformation, divine alignment. And yet, despite it all, you've remained humble. You've remained kind. You've kept your heart pure, and that is why the tables are turning. That is why the same ones who avoided your eyes will soon see you elevated. The same ones who whispered behind your back will witness God's favor reign on your life. Not because you asked for revenge, but because God is just. Your ability to endure without turning bitter, to shine without seeking applause, to walk in truth without compromise, that's what set you apart. That's what makes your eyes powerful. And that's why the enemy has tried so hard to dim your light, because he knows when a chosen one walks in full awareness of who they are, the world shakes. So don't shrink. Don't second-guess your presence. Don't water down your gaze. Your eyes carry prophecy. Your eyes carry history. Your eyes carry the evidence of a God who kept you when no one else did. And when people look away, let them. You weren't called to please their comfort. You were called to awaken their spirit. You've been through more than you talk about, more than you let on. Because if people truly knew the depths of the warfare you've survived, the spiritual attacks, the emotional manipulation, the psychological battles, they wouldn't believe how you're still standing. But that's the miracle. You are still standing. Chosen one, let's not pretend like the road here was easy. You didn't just stumble into this divine awareness. You were forged in fire. You were sculpted in suffering. There were moments when it felt like heaven had gone silent. Moments where you cried until your soul was hoarse, and still, no answers, only silence. But even in the silence, God was moving. And while the people around you were laughing, celebrating, moving on like nothing had happened, you were on your knees fighting unseen wars. You were fasting, praying, breaking soul ties, tearing down strongholds, and waging battle not just for yourself, but for your bloodline. And no one saw that. They saw your smile, but not the sword in your spirit. They saw your kindness, but not the calluses on your soul. They saw your light, but not the nights you screamed into your pillow, asking God why He chose you for this path. Why did you have to be the one to awaken? Why did you have to be the one to feel so deeply, to see so clearly, to carry so much? And yet, in your questions, God answered by making you stronger, not in the way the world defines strength, but divine strength. Quiet, steady, relentless strength. The kind that can't be faked. The kind that terrifies demons. The kind that makes others uneasy, even if they don't know why. That strength lives in your eyes now. It's why people look away. They sense that you've seen things, that you've walked through spiritual dimensions they can't comprehend. They feel it, even if they don't have language for it. And you know what's wild? Some of the people who once tried to destroy you are now watching your rise from a distance. They're seeing that everything they did, every lie they spread, every whisper in dark corners, every spell spoken behind closed doors, it didn't work. It backfired. Because what they won't understand is that you're not sustained by applause, by validation, or by belonging to the crowd. You're sustained by divine assignment. God saw every attack, every dagger cloaked in friendship, every betrayal dressed in smiles, every moment someone pretended to love you just to study you, just to drain you, just to sabotage you. and he took notes. And when you cried out, "Lord, do you see this? Are you going to do something?" He wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing a stage, a divine stage where your enemies would have no choice but to watch the favor of God overtake your life, where they'd see the very one they tried to crush rise with more power, more clarity, more divine fire than ever before. That's you. You're not bitter. You're not even trying to get even. That's what confuses them. They know what they did. They know the seeds they sowed. They know the harm they caused. And yet you walk with peace. You love without pretending. You move forward without revenge in your heart. And that's why God is lifting you higher, because he can trust you with victory that won't turn into vanity. But let's not sugarcoat it. There were nights you wanted to give up, days when the weight felt unbearable, when the pressure to give in, to become like them, to dull your light just to feel accepted, was overwhelming. But you didn't. And that's what separates the chosen from that. You stood in the fire and didn't bow. You walked through rejection and didn't grow cold. You loved people who didn't love you back, and still you didn't close your heart. You were mocked for your sensitivity, called too much for your discernment, laughed at for your devotion, and still you prayed. Still you stayed in alignment. Still you kept your oil. And now the glow in your eyes, it's divine recompense. It's what causes people to tremble, because they know somehow you carry a strength they can't steal, a glow they can't replicate, a calling they can't copy. They tried to put you in a box, tried to limit your identity, tried to define you through the lens of their own insecurity. But the hand of God refused to let you stay small. And now that you're rising, they can't handle it. They don't know how to respond to the version of you that refused to stay broken, that refused to stay hidden, that refused to believe the lies spoken over your destiny. So they avoid your gaze, because when they look into your eyes, they don't just see you, they see every failed attempt to destroy you. They see their own guilt. They see your unexplainable peace, and it confuses their spirit. Some of them tremble, not because they're afraid of you, but because they're afraid of what God is doing through you. You are living proof that grace is real, that restoration is possible, that the stone the builders rejected has truly become the cornerstone. And now you're not just surviving, you're thriving, quietly, steadily, with heaven's wind at your back. And those who once rolled their eyes at your fire are now watching from afar, asking, how did they make it through all that? But they don't understand. It was never you. It was the anointing on you. It was the covering of angels, the whispers of ancestors, the protection of divine timing, the secret conversations between you and God that no one else heard. That's what carried you. You never needed the crowd. You never needed their validation. You only needed God's yes. And now that his yes has been released over your life, no amount of human resistance can stop the blessing. And so you keep walking, keep glowing, keep allowing your eyes to reflect the divine, because your gaze is not ordinary. It's a weapon, it's a lighthouse, it's a testimony, and the world needs it. Not everyone will be able to look at you, and that's okay. You weren't made to be stared at. You were made to be followed by those who are ready to awaken. There is a shift happening, and you feel it in your bones. The air around you is different. The atmosphere has changed. Doors that were once sealed shut are creaking open. And more than that, there's this silent, holy roar rising inside you. You've kept quiet for so long. You've taken the hits, stayed silent in the face of slander, and turned the other cheek when others tried to publicly strip you of your worth. But the tables are turning, slowly, surely, spiritually. God is about to make an announcement, and it won't require a stage, a microphone, or a grand audience. No, he's going to do it in such a divine, effortless way that the people who tried to erase you won't even be able to explain your elevation. He's going to place you in spaces they swore you'd never reach. He's going to crown you with peace in front of those who tried to plant chaos in your life. And the first sign, your eyes. That quiet fire in your gaze has become the very evidence of divine justice rising in your favor. The people who once smirked at your downfall are now struggling to hold eye contact with the very person they tried to destroy. Because God is putting His glory all over your face. Without words, you are proclaiming, "I survived." Without speaking, you are testifying, "God kept me." Without retaliation, you are declaring you meant it for harm, but heaven flipped the script. This is divine reversal. The last shall be first. The stone they rejected is now the cornerstone. The one they whispered about in private will be blessed in public. Because God is not just your healer, He is your defender. And He doesn't just restore, He reveals, He exposes, He vindicates. This is the season of public recompense for every private wound you've carried with grace. There's something sacred about being the chosen one. It's not just about favor, it's about warfare. The kind of warfare that teaches you to hear God even in the middle of a storm. The kind of warfare that forces you to build altars in your pain, to worship when you want to weep, to stand when everything inside you wants to crumble. And it's that very pain that birthed your power. That is why your victory hits different. It's not about pride. It's not about revenge. It's about divine justice finally catching up to your soul. You didn't seek it. You didn't chase it. You waited. You trusted. And now God is about to honor your patience with promise. He's about to give you beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, strength for every tear that hit your pillow while no one was watching. And the world will know it. Not because you broadcast your struggles, but because your glow will be undeniable. Your energy will walk into the room before you do. Your presence will say what your mouth no longer needs to. And those who once couldn't see your value will have no choice but to acknowledge the glory you carry. Chosen one, your eyes carry the story of resurrection. You've died and risen 1,000 times, emotionally, spiritually, even relationally. You've had to bury versions of yourself just to survive the seasons people put you through. But look at you now. There's no bitterness in your soul, no hatred in your heart, just a quiet strength that says, "I am still here." And not just here, you're whole. You've healed from wounds that should have kept bleeding. You've grown from betrayals that were meant to break you. You've risen from rejection that tried to make you question your worth. And that's what they see in your eyes now. That's what makes them nervous. Because nothing is more terrifying to the enemy than someone who's healed and still holy. You didn't let the pain corrupt your purity. You didn't let the attacks turn you into one of them. You stayed true, and God noticed. He saw you forgive when it was easier to fight. He saw you love when it was easier to lash out. He saw you bless those who cursed you, and now He's about to release a blessing that no man can take credit for, because everyone who knows your story knows it wasn't your strength that brought you here. It was divine orchestration, the kind of orchestration that will not be silenced. And it's not just for you. Your breakthrough is generational. Your healing is going to echo into your bloodline. The favor that's falling on you right now, it's going to ripple into your children, your children's children, and beyond, because you chose to fight battles they'll never have to fight. You chose to break curses they didn't even know existed. You chose to carry the pain and not pass it down. This is what it means to be the chosen one. It's not about being better, it's about being burdened with divine responsibility and still answering the call. So when they can't look you in the eye anymore, it's because your eyes carry too much truth, too much light, too much evidence of divine intervention. And deep down, they know something holy has marked you. They can't pretend you're ordinary anymore. They can't write you off. They can't deny the shift. Because your rise doesn't look like theirs. It's not built on clout or manipulation or performance. It's built on obedience. And that kind of elevation, it terrifies those who built their status on sand. So keep walking with your head high. Keep letting your gaze pierce through pretense. Keep showing up with that quiet, prophetic fire, because your eyes carry a message that can't be silenced. God did this. Not them, not luck, not connections, God. And the beauty is, you don't even have to announce it. Just being is the announcement. Just showing up with your peace intact is the revelation. Just walking with joy is the thunderclap of victory. This is your time. Not because you forced it, but because you were faithful when no one was watching. And now, everyone's watching. Chosen one, you've probably asked yourself over and over again, why me? Why the isolation? Why the resistance? Why the strange stares, the nervous laughter, the people who pretend you're not even in the room until they need something from you? You've replayed situations in your head, moments that didn't make sense, moments when you felt invisible or worse, targeted. But what if I told you it wasn't about you the way you thought? The truth is spiritual, always has been. You are a mirror, a divine reflection of truth. And most people, especially those who are disconnected from their soul, are terrified of being seen. They're not afraid of your face. They're afraid of what's behind your eyes. Because your spirit speaks before you even open your mouth. It awakens parts of people that they've silenced, avoided, and buried for years. You are not just a presence, you are a revelation, and revelations disrupt comfort. See, there are laws at work, invisible laws, spiritual paradoxes that govern the behavior of those who come near you. When light walks into a room, it doesn't need to announce itself. It just exposes everything hidden. You don't try to make people uncomfortable. You just are. You show up with energy that can't be diluted, with eyes that hold centuries of knowing. And people feel that, even if they don't have words for it. Have you noticed? People either lean in or shrink back. They either become curious or they become critical. Why? Because your frequency demands authenticity. And those who live in masks, who survive through image, can't maintain that illusion under your gaze. They don't avoid you out of hate. They avoid you out of fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being felt, fear of what they might have to confront within themselves if they were to really, truly look you in the eye. They don't just see you, they see the parts of themselves they're ashamed of, the dreams they abandoned, the wounds they never healed, the potential they never pursued. And the most dangerous thing in the world to a spiritually asleep person is someone who has woken up. You've been waking people up by simply being, and it's cost you. The friendships that slowly faded, the relationships that couldn't survive the weight of your truth, the family members who subtly resent you but can't explain why, the people who once claimed to love you now squint when you enter the room, as if the very sight of your progress gives them a headache. It's not that you did anything wrong, it's that your evolution is confronting everything they've refused to deal with. You're rising, and they're not. And instead of rising with you, they attack you or disappear altogether. But let's go even deeper. The enemy doesn't attack what doesn't threaten his kingdom. You've faced so much resistance not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous to darkness. You carry an assignment that breaks chains. You carry an anointing that reveals truth. You were born with a divine code written into your spirit, and the enemy saw it the moment you were born. He tried to take you out early, through trauma, through self-doubt, through rejection, but none of it worked, because your calling was protected by heaven. That's why you couldn't stay where you were. That's why no matter how hard you tried to fit in, it never felt right. God refused to let you blend in, because chosen vessels are not allowed to get comfortable in contaminated places. He pulled you out, set you apart. And yes, it felt like loneliness, but it was actually consecration. He needed your eyes clear. He needed your heart pure. He needed your ears tuned to his frequency, not the noise of the crowd. Because what you carry is too sacred to be diluted, too powerful to be mishandled, too prophetic to be buried under performance. You are not misunderstood by accident. You are misunderstood because your very existence dismantles illusions. And so people project. They project their jealousy onto you and call it criticism. They project their insecurity and call it advice. They project their own darkness and label you the problem. But in reality, you've been the light all along. It's not your job to shrink for their comfort. It's not your duty to explain your fire to those who've chosen to live in the cold. You owe no one your dimness. You don't need to lower your gaze to make others feel secure in their shadows. God placed this fire in your eyes for a reason. It's not just to see, it's to see through. It's the sight that catches lies in midair, the vision that discerns spirits, the clarity that pierces through charm and empty words. And that's why so many people can't hold your stare, because they're used to fooling everyone else, but not you. They feel like you know, like you see past their roles, their achievements, their smiles. And you do. Not because you're judging, but because you've been to the depths. You've walked through the fire. You've cried in places they refuse to acknowledge. And your empathy is not soft. It's surgical. It slices through delusion. You understand pain not through theory, but through experience. And that makes you dangerous, because healed people, truly healed people, become truth bearers. And truth is terrifying to those who have built their lives on lies. So what does all this mean? It means you can stop blaming yourself for the way people treat you. It means you can release the guilt, the confusion, the need to be understood. Because the misunderstanding isn't a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of their capacity. You weren't sent here to be understood. You were sent here to awaken. And waking people up is messy. It's uncomfortable. It rattles cages. It breaks illusions. It shatters egos. But it saves souls. And that's what you're doing every time you walk into a room with that glow. Every time you meet someone's eyes and their mask slips. Every time you speak with that quiet thunder in your voice. You are reminding people of what's real. So no, not everyone will be able to look you in the eye. Not because of you, but because of what you activate in them. You stir up dormant things. You resurrect buried truth. You call people higher just by being fully you. And that, chosen one, is your power. You're not here by accident. You didn't stumble onto this message because of a random scroll. You were drawn here by divine alignment, because God knew you needed this reminder, this gentle, powerful echo of truth. You are the chosen one. That strange feeling you've carried your whole life, the sense that you never quite belonged, that people looked at you differently, that your presence caused a shift you couldn't explain. It wasn't delusion. It wasn't paranoia. It was the weight of your calling. It was heaven's whisper that you were marked, set apart, called by name before time began. And now that you know this, you can stop apologizing for your presence. You can stop shrinking when people get uncomfortable. You can stop explaining your glow, your silence, your discernment. You can finally breathe in the knowing that there's nothing wrong with your intensity. There's nothing wrong with your depth. There's nothing wrong with your eyes that carry lifetimes of truth. People can't look you in the eye not because you're broken, but because you are whole. And your wholeness confronts the fragments inside them. You carry the fragrance of freedom, the vibration of victory, the residue of resurrection. And that kind of presence, it demands a response. So don't be surprised when people shift around you. Don't internalize their discomfort. Don't bend to be accepted by those who've chosen to reject themselves. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be remembered. A walking reminder of what's holy, of what's real, of what's unshakable. Your life is the testimony. You don't need to shout it from the rooftops. You don't need to defend yourself in every room. Your proof is in your peace. Your power is in your posture. Your truth is written all over your face, and especially in your eyes. And those eyes, they've seen war. They've wept in silence. They've watched betrayal, survived heartbreak, witnessed miracles, and stared into the void of isolation without losing sight of hope. And now, those same eyes reflect glory, restoration, clarity, alignment. So lift your head, chosen one. This is not the season to play small. This is not the hour to second-guess what you've seen, what you know, what you feel. The world is awakening, and your presence is needed now more than ever. You weren't sent here to blend in with the noise. You were sent to disrupt it with divine harmony. You were sent to awaken souls by simply being yourself. Yes, you will be misunderstood. Yes, people will call your discernment paranoia, your wisdom weird, your fire too much. Let them talk. Let them avert their gaze. Let them squirm in your presence. It is not your burden to carry their projections. It is not your duty to fix their discomfort. You walk with God. You carry the breath of the divine. You are fire wrapped in flesh. And your eyes? They are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to see, to pierce, to reveal, because your gaze is not just a look, it's a spiritual encounter, and the people who are ready will see you. And the ones who aren't? Let them walk away. Let your light offend those who prefer darkness. Let your truth upset the lies they've chosen to live by. Let your peace confront their chaos, and do it all without bitterness, without arrogance, without the need for revenge. Because the greatest victory is becoming everything they tried to break in you. And you are. You are rising. You are glowing. You are walking in the fullness of your divine identity. So what now? Keep going. Keep walking with power. Keep speaking with clarity. Keep shining with grace. And when the enemy tries to lie to you again, when he whispers, "Why don't they look at you?" you'll smile and remember, it's not rejection, it's revelation. They see you, even if they pretend they don't. Their spirit recognizes yours, and that is enough. So move forward with peace. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to force doors open that God has already promised. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your presence is proof. Your survival is proof. Your peace is proof. And now it's your time. Not a spotlight kind of time, but a holy unfolding, a divine revealing, a season where God lifts the veil, not just so the world can see you, but so you can finally see yourself the way heaven always has. Chosen one, look in the mirror today. Look into your own eyes and say it with full belief. I am not too much. I am not broken. I am not lost. I am chosen. I am seen. I am protected. And I walk with heaven in my eyes. And then go out into the world and let your gaze do the rest.